All right, we are live, and the New York Mets are no longer the hottest team in baseball, but they were so fucking close to being the hottest team in baseball, which would have made this ad read even easier. Nonetheless, Mets are not as hot as they were. It's cold as shit outside, but the only thing colder than the weather in New York during baseball season in April is your Coors Light. It's the official sponsor of We Gotta Believe. We Gotta Believe is presented by Coors Light, and it is the beer that makes you chill in your soul, whether your team is winning games 10-5, whether Edwin Diaz is coming in to just say, you know what, I want to get out of playing. I don't really care. Just throw 94 mile per hour fastballs down the plate. No matter what it is, Coors Light is there for you and us as Mets fans. It is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's even in the cold weather, you can drink your Coors Lights. But now that we're on the road, we're going to have some later games. Perfect time to grab a Coors Light, sit back. I got the recliner right here. Pop a Coors, drink it down, and chill out from the first pitch to the last. Even with our awesome ERA, it's still, we still need our Coors Lights in this world as Mets fans. So Mets fans, choose chill this season and then reach for a Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Visit to get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Visit CoorsLight.com/believe, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. And today, boys, on today's We Gotta Believe, for the people that are listening and not watching, we brought in the Iceman himself, Chris Clemmer.
Yeah. Excited to talk Mets. This is a great time to be a Mets fan. This is a
Clemmer
great
was always,
time to be a Mets fan.
He was always doing Pick Central last year when we were doing the show, so we didn't have much Clemmer action. But this year things have been shaken up a little bit, so we're going to get the Mets aliens to come through.
Yeah, the Mets aliens. I said, we got to get Rico on. We got to get, like I said, Frank Fleming can come on. I need it when like Brett Beatty's either getting hot or he moves on to.
Well, I don't know. I don't think Frank's going to be on the show very often then.
No, in AAA maybe. Like back in AAA, you can get hot there.
You're right there.
Like
dude, you know who Brett Beatty is? He's brawny. He goes down to the G League and he fucking kills it, and then he comes up to the pros, and you're like, you do not belong here, buddy.
And you guys know I ride with my guys, and then sometimes it hits the Nimo BP, became Nimo PS, became $100 million man, and sometimes it absolutely flames out, and it's looking like my guy is flaming out. Phil stole Max Kranick from me, and I'm so jealous of that because that's my guy. But Brett Beatty is basically Jeff McNeil's PR guy right now, right? Because between him, Acuna does have like that spark feel to him, but it doesn't feel like he's an everyday player. But at this point, it's like, give me back the guy who once won a batting championship and will drive us absolutely crazy when he throws his little hissy fits after, grounding out with 2 outs. But Give me back Jeff McNeil. I am ready for Jeff McNeil to come back.
My theory on Beatty, if he wasn't 6'3", 210, I think he'd be gone. I think he has the look of a major league player, the size, like that gives people this idea that he can be some sort of big bat. I just don't think. I don't know. I think all of us, and I definitely was very wrong on Mark Vientos. I pulled the plug on him early. I think Beatty has had a little bit more of a sample, and I unfortunately just think it like from the eye test, he looks like one of those quadruple A players. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I think this experiment's got to come to an end sooner than later if you're going to be on like a contending team.
Yeah, and I don't want
to you talk about how he looks. Yeah, physically he looks like he should be
right, but everything else.
But if you look in his eyes,
it's
fear.
Yeah,
and he's awful right now. I mean, he's completely off. Acuna is not. He's a year away, and maybe he's a forever away. Maybe he's never a major league starter. We don't know that yet. But he's a much better option than Beatty. And I tell you, there's no one on this team, there's no one on this roster that I hate more than Jeff McNeil. Clem, you nailed it. I can't wait for this guy to get back. Please give me Jeff McNeil. Please
give me Jeff McNeil. No knob, torpedo bat. He's hitting 400.
Phil, give me your thoughts on the Brett Beatty catastrophe, the Jeff McNeil glow up by doing absolutely nothing. Maybe give me the Acuna take. Go off the beaten path.
Jeff McNeil had like a 900 OPS in the second half last year. We just forget about. Like he made swing changes that we just forget about. Not saying he's a 900 OPS bat, but he's an average major league player at worst. I think Brett Beatty is 1, playing out of position, and 2, not hitting well enough to play out of position. And Acuna, he's fast, but he chases. He doesn't get on base. So that doesn't really do much. And maybe both those guys stink.
Acuna, like Beatty is what it is. Like Acuna, we slid him in September last year. He hit like 2 or 3 home runs in a week. Like
it was a hot week. That could happen to anyone.
Yeah, but I'm saying like there at least is a flash where I'm like, and maybe it's his last name. Maybe there's just part of me that's like, there's something in his blood where he can be like, have a game and have a moment, have a week. I feel like Brett Batty is until I like hear something from him or see something from him, some fire, some anger, something to make it be like, oh, okay, you're the type of guy who's going to push through this, not just like wilt. Right now, it looks like me. It looks like if I was out there just like, I don't know, I stink. I don't know. What do you want? You know what I mean? It's
he's
like,
behind in every single count. So he's
Yes.
always playing from behind treading water. This is like a fucking Campbell's soup type of situation. He's got one of the fastest bat speeds in the entire league, and he cannot lift the ball. I saw someone bleeding. They're like, please hit the ball in the air, Brett Batty.
Don't even talk to me about bat speeds and all. It doesn't matter if you don't hit the fucking ball. It's like,
he's like Ahmed Rosario, who hasn't even panned out yet, because he, by all metrics, is like the top minor league guy that we've had over like the last 3 or 4 years. And then when he comes up, he's Kirk Newenhuis. He's a quadruple A player who just cannot figure it out at the major league level.
Right.
But Bill made a great point. He's playing out of position. So he's not only is he hurting us offensively, we all know that. And Acuna is not much better offensively. No argument here, Phil. You're exactly right. But Acuna is so much better defensively just by being league average that I think at this point, I think you have to like, I don't think you play Batty. I don't think he's playable right now. Like when he took that at bat yesterday in the 7th inning, I was screaming at the TV. I'm like, what are we doing here? We're just giving away at bats. Like I think you have to play Acuna every day until Batty's back, unless there's a better infield option through waivers or something like that.
And listen, when we choose our guys here and you try to like root for your guy, my guy was Lugo back in the day. You want him to succeed. And I felt like a special bond to Batty. I like taking their guys at the absolute lowest value. Clever, when they were showing the bullpen and there was a lefty warming up, I'm like, all right, good, bring in the lefty. So then they have an excuse to pinch hit Acuna. I was already trying to make excuses to get Batty out of the game. And then when he was batted, I was like, why are we even doing this? It's an absolute it's an automatic out. And I have to shout out this guy, Patrick Kilbrogan here. He goes, I want to be on the Batty train so bad, but every time I see him at bat, it just reminds me of Billy Beane and Moneyball. And Billy Beane said the same thing, right? He's like, I was 6'3", absolute specimen, looked like a baseball player, except I didn't play like a baseball player. And I feel like Brett Batty, Billy Beane, double B's, whole thing, tall whites, with, first round pick,
reincarnated.
Yeah, he's going to be a hell of a GM in like 25 years. I mean, revolutionize the game. But until we get to that point,
I want to give a shout out to John Saponaro, the guy who said, if I were Juan Soto, I'd take the fucking car back. Number, you don't deserve anything. Goodbye.
I've seen some people say Juan hooked him up, so then when he's an Uber driver next year, he'll have getting higher ratings. I was like, man, it's tough out here in the Batty streets.
Oh man,
it's cold-blooded.
I think it's the kiss of death too when Frank zeroes in on somebody like
yeah,
Vogelback. Like I don't know if you can recover from just Frank's tirades every single night, because then he gets the fan base behind him, and you know he's.
You know what? Frank will also be the first guy at like FanFest who asked for a Brett Batty autograph.
Yep.
He did that. He literally did that.
Oh no!
Fuck out of here, dude.
Brett Batty has to stop doing hotel room reviews. That's
he's doing that.
Yeah. His girl is making him film content on the road.
Oh, I didn't know.
I didn't even know that. Oh
Wait,
my god,
dude! I'm telling you. Women in baseball all go together. Everything I ever hear, especially from this team about their wives and women, it's always like something going on. Except for Mrs. Cohen and Mrs. Lindor, the rest of them are a problem. No pumpkin patches, no filming content. Just play baseball.
Pumpkin patches. So all right, I didn't want to get the show off on a negative start. Won 5 of 6 fucking games. Absolute. I said the word Frank Fleming, and then I brought up Batty, and then we went down this whole goddamn path. It had to be said, because I think that's the one feeling we have every game is around this. Honestly, you could say the 7-hitter, the 8-hitter, whatever he is. It's basically the bottom half of the order. You just feel that anger and hopelessness and that same feeling. But I wanted to lead off the show with this because he is our guest joining us today, hopefully many times this season and in the future. Clemmer, before we get into your feelings on the season, we haven't got. Just give me your whole take on the whole Juan Soto thing. Let's get the vibes back up here. What were your thoughts as soon as the Mets signed Juan Soto across the table?
We're doing the whole thing, just like Juan Soto in general. I love it. Let's go.
I want to hear also he was across the table from Tommy Smokes with Meek Filler, right? So I just want to get like your overarching Soto feelings, because A, we need the vibes up, and B, like, you know, at Barstool, you're kind of the baseball guy. Have you been undefeated as a dozen call friend?
I think I've missed one phone a friend in baseball, I think.
Okay, so you're our baseball.
I'd like to watch a Meek Clemmer head-to-head like Brandon and Frank.
Yeah.
Meek would beat me in modern stuff, and I would just annihilate him anything before, like
entirely. Like
2004.
2010s baseball, I'd 10-0 Clemmer. 90s baseball, Clemmer would 10-0 me.
Or no,
It's that
anything
simple.
20th century baseball, I would annihilate.
So we need like
Sure,
2007 basically to have you guys.
Yeah,
like,
like 1 year.
Venn diagram.
He's been watching since 1940. So
No, I found out about Soto with Meek. We were doing and Tommy. We were about to tape Rat Race New Orleans, and that's when we found out about the Soto news. And I mean, it's amazing. We have Ted Williams. He's the closest thing to Ted Williams that any player has been since Ted. And you know, vibes, as far as vibes up, Clem, vibes should be enormous right now. We won 6 of the last 7.
Yeah.
I went to 3 games in the last homestand. Except for I went to that cold game on the horrible game, the 4:00 game on Tuesday, which is very cold. That was empty because they changed the time. Other than that, the crowds have been big. Crowds have been electric. People are excited. This is a great time to be a Mets fan right now. Now, like this is as excited a fan base as I've seen, even 2 years ago or 2022, I guess, you know, when they won 100 games, vibes were up, but it took a little while to get there. Like you guys remember, like it took kind of almost until the All-Star break, people kind of believe. I think people have already bought in because of Soto. People are all in. And I mean, this is a really fun time. I'm having a blast at these games. And you know what's funny? This team hasn't even hit yet. This team is hitting.
I know.
Look at they have an on-base percentage of 293. They have a slugging of 349. So we haven't really even seen the Juan Soto effect in the rest of the lineup.
Well, I will say though, the only thing is that Pete, Lindor, and Soto are producing. Like I don't think. I mean, if that gets much better, I think we're gonna be. Those 3 can produce more than they already are. So like, I don't know how much
Lindor will. Lindor on base is 292.
Lindor for sure. Yes.
Because he got off to that slow start. So these guys will do this all year, and in some cases, be better than what we've seen. And then on top of that, you have the other guys who are going to start hitting. We get Alvarez back in that lineup, and it's also cold as fuck. Offense is always down in April. It's a fact. Humidity helps the ball travel further. Look it up. You know that's just truth. This team, when they start really hitting and going off, look out. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Also, if this bullpen's good,
yes.
Like, we had a good bullpen in 22, and I remember just being like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I've never rooted for a team that has like a lights out pen. And there's still like, when Brazoban's out there doing well, I'm like, this isn't going to last. And some of these guys feel like a crapshoot, but maybe not. I trust in Stearns until he proves otherwise, that maybe he just finds these guys to plug and play when they're going to have an up year or, a good 6 months or whatever it may be. So if that, like a good, and the starting pitching is what it is. Starting pitching is just like not even a thing anymore. So if you have a good offense and a good bullpen, I'll roll the dice with the rest of it. And I'm happy you said this, Clemmer, because I want the main thing I wanted to do today was give a shout out to the crowd because, bro, between the My Girl singing, which I think is going to become one of the the coolest traditions in all sports, the pitch counting. And just overall, like on shitty, cold days, day games, whatever, they are there and they have been loud in the early going when it's usually dead. I would never dream of going to some of these games when it's fucking 40 degrees and there are fans out there still going off. So, and that's what Steve Cohen kind of challenged. I think they had their largest opening weekend ever tickets wise. So they have answered the bell every way monetarily, how loud they've been, how into it they've been. So that Steve challenged and the fans have answered, at least in the early going.
Season tickets are sold out. As far as if you wanted to buy an 81 game season ticket, you can't. It's gone. Sold out. And like I said, you're seeing it even, like I said, even yesterday's crowd. If you look at the 1:00 game, I wasn't there, but look at the TV. You had upper decks were full of people. And imagine when school's out. Imagine when the weather gets better. Citi Field is going to be the place to be this summer. I am as excited as I've been. I'm legitimately really amped up.
Yeah, me too.
I love it, Clemmer. I love it. So wait, did you go to did you say you went to the game that they had to move up because it was such shitty weather? Oh,
yeah, man. I went to 3 games. I went to Friday, Sunday, and Tuesday.
Oh God. And yeah, Kev, you nailed it. Like, God bless. And anyone that went to a 7:00 game. I remember when I used to go to the games when I lived in Astoria, and I had the little seasons that I spent with my friends, and you go and you'd be watching an April game. I remember there was an 18-inning game against the Giants once, or the Phillies, and you just sit there and have the time of your life. And I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? I was so happy to be on my couch this week. I can't even tell you.
I know. I hate that I'm one of those guys, but I'm always on the couch. I love the broadcast. Oh, the broadcast. Let me just touch on that real quick. When we say, for years, we've been saying the Mets had the best broadcast. And what that really means is Gary, Keith, and Ron.
Yeah.
We also now have literally the best broadcast, the airing of the game. These drone shots, the camera angles, the split screen as Lindor rounds third, that and it just, I don't want to say it's simple because I don't know how hard it is, but you can tell it's simple enough that SNY is just trying. They're just like, what would look cool at home? Like, what do you want as a baseball fan? You want to be able to see the guy where he's rounding third as the outfielder's getting the ball? Like, here you go. You want an awesome shot of the sunset as, coming over the stadium? We give you a drone. They just are always, they started it with the split screen a couple years ago, and then they do that thing where they have like Diaz up with the batter up, like a you know what I mean? They do all these cool thing, and every single time it's a fucking home run. I watch those behind the scenes videos where you hear the guy like, ready 5, cut 5.
Yeah, I love that.
I love those. I've become as much of a fan of broadcasting baseball as I have of the game of baseball, and it's because SNY does it so well. And that's still a Wilpons owned property. Imagine if Cohen owned it, what we would be doing. Who knows?
We should try to get that guy on because I'm convinced he went to film school. He brings cinematography to it, where he's actually ripped off old time films and done the angled shot where it's off kilter and he's got the music playing. Remember the buck cam where it was he's getting pissed at
the buck cam.
Yes.
He brings an extra element to it that really does round it out.
They find the fans. Rally Pimp was on the screen again the other day. They always are looking for the right shit.
I think his name is John DiMarcico. I think is the director at SNY.
Yeah.
And I stay up. I watch all the games. I know Phil does too. Phil and I are texting at 1 a.m. about baseball because we're the ones watching these West Coast games, and we don't go to bed to the West Coast. We just love baseball. So Phil and I will watch all the West Coast games. And Phil, I think you'll agree with me. The SNY broadcast, because we watch all the local broadcasts, is so much better than every other team's broadcast. It's not even close.
Really? It's that across the board.
Maybe honestly, I know we dog the Yankees broadcast. They're probably second best. So that shows you how bad. You watch a Tigers game, you watch a Rangers game.
Oh my God, those are awful.
Horrible broadcast.
Hey, guess what? That's what you fucking get for watching a Rangers game. Rangers Tigers in April. You guys need to kill yourselves.
The Rangers won a World Series a couple years ago, Kevin. Show some respect.
You're right. They were.
I think
always gets lost in the shuffle. I feel like he's finally figured out because coming in from Burkhart's shadow.
Yeah,
almost an impossible task. But he's the quirky. He's doing shticks. He's doing gimmicks. He's handing out hot chocolate the other day in the freezing cold. You always have to have a guy who's going to be able to just lean into the joke, and Keith just rips on him.
Dude, and I love that even when we have I actually don't know about this year, but in the past, at least when we've had the Apple TV games, Wayne Randazzo usually did those. So even when we had the bad broadcast, we kind of get one of our guys. So we're just very blessed in general. There has in the past, I've been Mets fans talk more about the broadcast than they do the team because we haven't had much to talk about. But now it's just something I'm proud of altogether. It's not, you know what I mean? It's the broadcast is just as good as the product on the field and vice versa. And while I know you said the Yankees maybe are the next best broadcast, but did you see the Yes Network director on Twitter being we don't give a shit about that stuff? Somebody was look how awesome the Mets, I think it was actually Castellani, was the Mets broadcast awesome. Every broadcast should have this split screen rounding third. And somebody tagged the Yes Network producer, and he wrote back we don't do shit like that. It was okay, dude. All right, well, nobody's gonna like your broadcast then. Sounds good.
We have SNY Spielberg. That's what I'm calling him. SNY Spielberg. This guy has all the shots. He gets it all lined up. And hey, if the other 29, I always have to do my math on the fly. They don't want to do that. I'm very happy to have just give us all the fucking Emmys. And like you said, Gelbsy is the four man, it's crazy. And they really do keep us going. Kev, I was even thinking when I was just mapping out the show today, and I'm man, back in the day, I'd be all right, so we've talked about when the Mets didn't, they fake killed somebody. Yeah. And then this problematic tweet that went out, and then this controversy in the locker room.
Yeah.
We're just talking about fucking baseball and some nice looking
I don't know what I'm more happy about. What's happening like on the field as a result of this, or how happy I am for him as a human being. But Pete Alonso must feel so good. And like, I'm actually, there might even be part of him that's like, fuck, if I just did this like 6 months earlier, I would have made $250 million. Maybe there's a part of him that's mad right now. But everything I've heard about Pete from behind the scenes is it was a lot of mental and emotional shit. And I really wonder if it's the Juan Soto effect, or if it's just he let it go. He's just like, I didn't get the big contract, but you know what? My landing spot was $30 million a year. I am what I am. I know what I am. I know what I'm not. And I'm just going to rake. Or maybe it's just that he's getting fucking pitches to hit. Either way, they're challenging him. They're doubting him. And he has been raking early on. And not just like it feels like old Pete. We're going opposite field. We are crushing the ball, hitting the gaps. Like he is, it feels like he is back. And for someone who had a lot of shit talked about him and back and forth, he has got to feel so good right now. And if he keeps hitting, shout out to Sal Licata. I'm going to retweet that every single time. I swear I'm going to do it. I promise you, every single time Pete does something good, because I think 3 games into the season, he said, I cannot watch Pete Alonso behind Soto all year. And since then, he's had like 2 3-run home runs, a grand slam, a bases clearing double. Like, I mean, it could not have been shoved up his ass quicker. I don't mind those guys either, but it's just they've there's a lot of hot take shit going on at WFAN, and I'm going to show them that every single time he does what he came to do.
And good for Juan Soto that he finally had some lineup protection behind him. He was happy.
Yeah, I know. He's going to feel great actually having a real bat to keep him, keep him honest.
It's not just the home runs, Kevin. He has 8 walks in 51 plate appearances. You can tell he's just seeing the ball in the pitcher's hand better. He's got 5 doubles, I believe. 3. It's not just the home runs. So he's hitting the ball harder. Like you're right. He's hitting the ball to all fields. We're seeing so much more to Pete. And Pete can still make a shitload of money. Like he can opt out of this year, right, Phil? Phil does contracts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So like he can opt. So he still has money to. And not only that, but now Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is signed up with the Blue Jays. Yeah. So now his chances of staying with the Mets even improved. Every single thing is coming up Pete Alonso.
And he can field. Every single time they point to the fact that he can't field, he makes like game-saving plays or like on the double plays, the picks.
Bro, I don't know what is it going to take for that narrative to change. Every single game. And I'll tell you what, I don't even like to bring it up because it's like against my guy, but he saves Lindor's ass a ton. Lindor would not have the same praise he has fielding-wise if Pete Alonso wasn't picking every single ball in the dirt.
By the way, they feel more comfortable throwing it, getting rid of the ball quicker because they know he can pick it up.
Yes. I mean, I don't know enough about the rest of his game, like his range, the rest of his glove.
Like, his range is bad. I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's bad.
But I feel like it's all average level, and then he picks the ball like a fucking wizard. I don't know. It's like at the end of the day, I feel like first basemen are always underappreciated. They're involved in 90% of plays, and when you have a good one over there that you can rely upon to catch it, I just like there's just such a clear divide of people who watch Mets games and people who look at stats. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, okay, you say he's a bad defender. Have you ever watched like even a single game? You'll see, there's a lot more that goes on there. Is that not a stat? Is that not taken into account, like catching the ball at first base? Because I think that's a pretty fucking important metric for a first baseman.
Yeah, like I don't know if it grades the degree of difficulty enough. Yeah. So like let's say you get you just have a good fielding percentage, you're catching the ball every time. Great. But not all picks are equal. So
right.
Like some are like much more challenging. He's very good at it.
Do that kind of shit with other things, don't they? They pick a defensive range and a zone.
Range is a big deal. And that's why his defensive stats are so poor typically, is because his range is not average. It's
my point being that if they have a range for other shit, can't they be like, this ball was 3 feet this way, 2 feet that,
You're right. No, Kevin, defensive stats are always being tinkered with and fixed because they're not perfect. They're far from perfect. They haven't figured it out yet. And they overvalue actual range too much, especially for first baseman, when they should value things like getting picks. I have no issues at all with Pete's defense.
There's never a ball that's hit where I'm like, oh man, he really like dove over the top of that one. It's like, if he doesn't get to it. Like there's plenty of first basemen who are just there for their bat, which is clearly the case here, except he also can pick the ball. Mm-hmm. What are we talking about? It's a net positive in my mind.
There was one double play versus the Marlins he turned last week where it was 3-6-3. And I was like, I thought for sure Pete was going to throw the ball into left field, and it was like the first time. That is one thing I'm always thinking about.
That's usually when I hold my breath. That's a very hard play in general to throw down the line, but anytime Pete's done it, that shit ends up in center field every single time.
It also might just be Lucas due to PTSD, where every time a first baseman throws the ball, you'll never feel comfortable.
And we always have a righty. It just doesn't feel natural. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Pete's a righty, obviously.
Remember that half season when they put Lucas Duda in the left field?
Oh, God.
That was wild times. That was...
I think it's like every 10 years we have to have one left fielder from hell, because Todd Hundley was the one in the 90s. I remember.
Oh my
God.
Then like Duda and Murph both had their times
Dom
up there.
Smith.
Dom Smith.
Oh my God.
That was good. That's right. The Giants game that retired me from West Coast baseball for good. Oh my God. I didn't even watch
Howard Johnson in the outfield too, if I remember correctly, back in the early 90s. And that went about as well as you'd think.
Why do we do this? But that shit's done now.
Piazza played first. They never put him out in the outfield, right?
No. Hundley got sent there when we got Piazza, and then he just went to first.
Putting a catcher in the outfield is fucking insane.
Wild.
Oh my God. Now we talked about SNY, and this is really there's a lot. I'm sure there's different ratings, and you could do the picks, you could do the UZR, whatever. This is how I measure first baseman and defense. If Keith Hernandez says they're good or they're improving or whatever, then I'm like, all right. And Keith has been very complimentary of Pete all year this year. And he's like, he looks actually better. And again, let's be honest, Pete's in a contract year for probably every year now going forward until he gets a big one. He's going to be in shape. He's going to be focused. And if he's hitting, he's going to be even more locked in. So far, so good with Pete. Everything's been good with him. And boys, we talked about McNeil. Phil, does Francisco Alvarez have any minor league options left? Because I'm kind of falling in love with our two backup catchers right now, which is a wild thing to say.
Yeah,
but the guy, obviously, Torrens had like an MVP run with some of the shit he was doing, like the couple games, and then Sanger does just enough where I expect absolutely nothing from him, and he just does the bare minimum, and his name sounds like Senga. It's how Mike Francesa would have pronounced Senga.
Dude, when Senga and Senga were in the game the other day, I was like, I just wish Mike was on the air, and he was like kind of doing his thing where he kind of does play-by-play, and all we just heard was Senga. Senga. Well, if Senger's going to be Senga, then Senger's got to be Senga.
Mike, like a calls up, and he's like, Mike, what do you think about Senga catching? Get lost, get out of here. This guy's a clown. No, but Alvarez coming back. I saw he had like a nice hard hit yesterday. Come back when you can.
I feel like he's ahead of schedule.
Right?
Yeah. I thought it was supposed to be like May. He's already doing rehab games.
They said that we're going to get both guys back before the end of the month.
My thing with him is at some point, it's just like he still needs to put it together, like age-wise. And then when you're doing that off of an injury, I just unfortunately don't know if this is the year. Like if he came in healthy and clean and ready to go, clean slate, I feel like he would maybe is like he starts to put it together. But when you have to battle back with that, and then you're still battling like your age and your experience, and I'm keeping the bar low for him, because if he does perform, great. If not, I just think that it's a lot to ask. He's still, what is he, 22, 23? I don't know. He's still so young.
He's going to be in his age 23 season. He's still super young.
He feels like a guy that you could bury at the bottom of the lineup, though, and then when it turns over, you get the extra RBIs out of him. Because you have the fives. You have Nimmo. The fact that the top of the order is performing the way they are, like Pete doesn't really have the protection that Lindor and Soto have when you're looking at the rest of the lineup. Like Nimmo isn't like crushing the ball by any means at this point. Yeah, he's got a home run or whatever, but like Vientos, like they could easily just bypass Pete, and that's kind of why he has 8 walks, because they're going to pitch around him and try to get the other guys out. But like the 4 to the end of the lineup is like dead.
So I think I might have some medicine for them.
Getting pumped in, like they can turn around and have 15 runs a game if any of these other guys start putting the ball in play.
So there might be a cure for this. They're going to Sacramento next. And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to this stadium, but in Sacramento, the stadium has hit the over 5 of the 6 games they've played. This place has turned into some weird, I don't understand it. It's only 70 feet above sea level. It plays like Coors Field for some reason. I don't understand. It's 320 on the left and right, 403 to center. But Phil and I watched these games, and these games are like 10-8, crazy games. So maybe this will help the bats explode. I don't know. The last game that was played there was a lower run game, though. So maybe it was an aberration. But I don't know. It's very strange.
I can't believe Major League Baseball is like allowing this. It's like when you see those highlights and it's like literally a minor league stadium, it's just like how
They're there for 3 years. 3 years they got to be in Sacramento.
At least maybe 4.
They're sharing the field with the minor league team still. They're not even they don't even have like ownership over it. And it gets to over 100 degrees for the summer. It's going to be awful.
I give props to the Mets fans. Like if you are a Athletics fan coming out in April right now to watch this team at that stadium, you're doing like that's charity work. You should be able to write that off on your taxes. That's insane.
Well, there's another motive there, Kevin. Sacramento wants an expansion team. The people there aren't necessarily A's fans. The idea is, hey, if we show support, we'll get a team. Unfortunately for them, the attendance hasn't been that great. And I think, if anything, this might end up dooming the chance of Sacramento ever getting a major league team. Which is kind of
if you think Sacramento should have a what?
Yeah.
No.
You're absolutely right. You're right, Kevin. It's going to go to like
Vegas.
Yeah. Vegas has the A's now. I'm sorry. Like Portland could get one. Memphis. Who else? Nashville.
Anywhere other than Sacramento.
I will say too, I've been looking at some of the stadium renderings for some of these places. Like Portland had one. I go on YouTube. There's some fucking cool looking stadiums out there. Stadium renderings is one of the greatest things in the world, man. I fucking love just looking at that shit. But whether you're rooting for the Mets, you're rooting for the A's and that fucking black hole or anywhere in between, they say baseball's a marathon, not a sprint. And that's great news for us because there are so many games to bet on. Don't miss a second of the action at DraftKings Sportsbook. From every game until the champagne pops and the trophy is lifted, DraftKings Sportsbook as you cover with same game parlays, live betting, odd boosts, and so much more. If you've never bet on baseball before, it's easier than you think. Just pick something simple like your favorite team to win a game and make your pick. It's just that simple. Our boy Clemmer is popping out bets every single day. You can follow him if you want to see where his head is on everything. And here's something special for first timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets instantly. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code BELIEVE. That's code BELIEVE for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Again, that's code BELIEVE, BELIEVE. For new customers, get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. All right. We are going to come back to Sacramento at the end. I definitely want to talk about that. But I have to get this. I have to run this one by the panel. Admittedly, I feel like Clemmer's probably not the guy to ask for this. Our guy Phil is probably the guy for ask this. And I don't even know if we have anyone young enough to ask for this other than Phil, who's like an internet he lives on the internet. How do I feel about the Rizzler with the Mets right now? Threw the first pitch at the opening on Sunday's opening weekend, and I was like, all right, like the Rizzler, hot name. Didn't realize, I know his family's all Yankees fans. He's the one Mets fan. So I'm like, this is our guy. We got to ride with the Rizzler. Seems like the Rizzler has a pretty high Q rating for the internet that hates everything. However, I think he dressed in Yankees stuff for a commercial, and now everyone's turning on the goddamn Rizzler as we get him. And I'm happy the winning streak ended at 6 because I don't need anyone talking about how Rizzler is the new Grimace or anything.
We were winning before he threw the first pitch, and
Exactly.
he's like 7, 8 years old. Like it's just a fucking kid. We don't need.
I'm pro Rizzler. I didn't know that thing about the Yankees. I'm going to choose to not believe that. I'm going to try to avoid that picture. I like the Rizzler. I do not like the other guy. I do not like Big Justice, who, by the way, has a great swing. Have you seen footage of him? He did some like home run derby that looked like it was at like a major league field or a minor league field at least. And it's a long swing, but he's got like a good swing. Like it's slow and long, but he was hitting these fucking bombs, dude.
Big Poppy.
Big Justin can rake. I don't like him. I definitely don't like the dad. But the Rizzler is a fat, cute kid. He's a funny guy. This is the thing. If you really have a problem with the Rizzler, you gotta look in the mirror, man. Like you don't have to like him, you don't have to celebrate him. But if you're like, fuck the Rizzler, I don't know. I think it's a little weird how much people love him as well. Like when he came to the office, Barstool people were like rearranging their schedules to meet this guy, and I was like, he's literally 8 years old, guys. Like worry about an actual baby. But if he wants to come to the game and do the thing, and like, I'll for sure embrace him as a Mets fan.
I went to the game. He threw out the first pitch. And I'll say this. Mets crowds are pretty cynical. I think for obvious reasons. Everyone stopped what they were doing to watch this kid throw the first pitch.
Juice, baby.
I didn't hear one person say, like, fuck this guy. And then they even did a thing. You know how they do that, like, wheel of spins or whatever it is, and it landed on Rizzler. And then people were doing, like, no one was, like, mocking it. No one was like angry about it. No one was shitty about it. I didn't hear one. All I heard was people loving it. It was a love fest with the Rizzler. People love the Rizzler.
Him and his dad were behind home plate distracting the other pitcher.
Yeah.
I like that.
Too, right?
I like when he's doing that.
Yeah, he's cool. The other guys are more like I also what I really don't like because I saw a clip of that fucker Big Justice was taking credit for the Rizzler. He was like, I found the Rizzler, and he only had 70,000 fans when followers, and like we made him into something. I'm like, fuck you. The Rizzler is the real deal. He made you guys.
You ever see him wearing the Black Panther costume?
Yeah,
So good.
The Rizzler wearing the Black Panther costume?
Yeah. Oh my God, I'll send it to you. It's so funny.
Is that allowed? Are we allowed to do that? I hate to ask, but like, wait, is the Rizzler related to the fucking other jabronis? No? Oh,
They're not.
that's so
they're
better.
friends. They're just friends. It's Justice and AJ are father son, and the Rizzler's just a friend that they like roll together.
So Justice is the dad.
No,
No.
AJ is the
That's
dad.
AJ.
Justice is the kid.
Big Justice is the kid who has, and the kid has a good long swing.
Let me see if I can find the footage. I couldn't believe it.
I'm amazed. I'm sorry I'm finding this out on the fly. This whole time, for some reason, I'd always see them together, and I just thought somehow
they
he
look like
became the Mets fan because like the grandma was a Mets fan and he was the baby. Like I didn't understand. And I'm Italian. I can say sometimes Italians you kind of blend in together. You don't really know where it ends and where it stops, and he just looks like he was created out of like some gabagool and some olive oil. So, but Clemmer, like you said. That passes the smell test. The Mets are such cynical people. Mets fans can be so bad, and New Yorkers in general. And the fact he like passed with flying colors and like 100% approval rating, which is like not getting booed means 100% approval rating.
No, it was more than that. People were like stuck because I was in that concourse in the uppers.
Yeah,
I like that spot, and I like that big screen. Everyone just like stopped and like watched it. It was like aliens invaded or something. Everyone like stopped and turned silently and watched with great anticipation.
I have to admit too, because someone had hit me up a week earlier, was like, hey, by the way, the Rizzler's throwing out the first pitch on Sunday, and I was gonna like break it on the show as a joke, forgot all about it, and then once I saw the hate coming out of the Rizzler, I was like, man, I don't know if I can even talk about the Rizzler around these people, but it sounds like we're in a good place right now. Took some money to do again. We've all done stuff for money we're probably not proud of. It's over now. New York has turned.
This is not the video I was talking about, but he did a home run derby with Bryce Harper and Mr. Beast because why not?
Why not? Yeah.
And I just sent that to the We Gotta Believe group chat. This is not the one I was talking about, but he does. You can see his swing in this video as well. He hits some dingers. I mean, he's a big kid. Like he's the kid in Little League who you're like, oh, that fat kid's gonna hit it to the fucking moon. You know, he brings the boom.
Yeah.
It's a drone shot tracking the ball.
yeah. They went all out with this shit.
Here we go. Up on the screen.
Cut to like the middle is like where he was actually swinging because I think the beginning's a lot of. Look at him, yeah, boom! Look at this kid can swing.
Wow,
he's got a good Bryce Harper. What a world. This guy probably went from just like regular, not even regular, just like a weird kid who like his dad's a wrestler and they make internet videos to like I'm hanging out with Bryce Harper. Look at this, kapow!
Oh,
he can swing, dude.
Yeah, you have to throw it to a very certain spot, but if you throw it there, he's going to feast on it.
Yep.
I mean, you throw this kid, Big Justice, Mr. Beast, and Jake Paul in a room, and they're just going to say, guys, can you believe this happened? Like, they just have to be just amazed with how life has shaken out for all three of them doing what they do. So shout out.
Cookie, and now they have millions of followers, millions of dollars.
Crazy.
Yes. And to be honest, they like the Yankees ever since that video, it all fell apart too. So they kind of helped us out in a weird way by cursing the Yankees, right? So I thought the Rizzler was a part of this family. I'm very happy to hear he isn't. All right, so Rizzler's a friend. Phil, again, this one's the most important one. Phil, in your fucking internet, deep internet world, Rizzler's still cool with everyone there?
He's still cool, yes.
Okay. That turns on people quick. That's like Mets fans.
It's going to be interesting to see how that kid ages because it's one thing when you're like 8. When you're like 13, it's like, I don't know, it's getting weird, bro.
He's Lil Terrio.
Yes.
He was around during TikTok because that guy's looking at this like, God damn it. I missed the man.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
All right. So this was like a little gimmick I came up with right before the show started. I just want to see where everyone sits after, again, had a nice winning streak there, 5-6 at home, going on the road. But it's also, let's be honest, it's the Marlins. Astros are a good team, not the team obviously they were, at least not yet. Couple home games, bad weather. You don't really know how it's going to play. Pitching looks good, but could be a product of the weather. Hitting's top half. Confidence rating 1 to 10. where are you with the New York Metropolitans right now heading to the West Coast? We'll start with Philip.
I'm at like an 8.5. I think that's pretty fair. We're 8-4, and our hitting hasn't done anything outside of like 3 guys. Our pitching is kind of performing in the way we expected, like the best case, like 5 innings, not giving up that many runs. So it's like I feel good right now. It's 8-4 start of season. We have an easy schedule coming up. Famous last words, but you gotta take advantage of it.
Listen, stop.
It's a quote unquote light.
I'm putting the brakes on this whole segment right now. I don't know how this is gonna go. I'm not doing a scale of 1 to 10 because to me, it's a binary thing. Am I confident?
Yes. 1-0. Give me 1-0, Kev.
In one camp or the other, and I will say right now I am confident. Right now, like I'm happy they got off to. I wasn't gonna. It's like a bad start. I don't think dooms them. I think a good start like helps a lot. You know what I mean? So I'm really happy they had a good start. The boo birds don't come out. The haters don't come out unless you're a clown. And so it's like if they're doing it this early, everything Clemmer was talking about before, when things really get cooking, like Juan Soto's not playing well yet. Like he's had an impact and he's not even really playing that well yet. So like Lindor has not even come close to where we know his max is. Pete, if he keeps it up, is going to be, an all-star. And I just think they've done what they needed to do early on, which is a big thing for the Mets.
If I told you were going to win 4 out of 6 versus the Marlins, you'd be like, oh, I was expecting 2 out of 6. That's perfect.
Oh, totally, man. Like, I saw somebody say, like, is that fat Yankees fan who made a funny video.
John from Maspeth.
Yeah, the chop shops being like, Soto picked this. But he said something like, when the Mets stop playing the Marlins, they'll see like what it's really like. I'm like, you clearly don't know what it's like for the Mets. Like when we beat the Marlins is when we're cooking, baby. Like that's when I'm at my lowest. So
if we played those series in August, we'd lose them probably.
Yeah.
There's nothing that strikes fear into my heart. No disrespect to Bryce Harper and fucking, Austin Riley and Ronald Acuna, no more than guys named Otto, fucking Lopez, and Xavier Edwards in a fucking like bright neon Marlins jersey when a game matters. So
I was telling Clemmer that like I consider myself a big baseball fan. Like I know all the players. There's like 6 guys on the Marlins I never heard of before this season.
You can make a case. Say this with all seriousness. The Marlins lineup is one of the worst lineups you've seen in the last 25, 30 years in baseball. It's that bad.
It's that bad. Okay, good to know.
Now, like my confidence is exactly. I had exactly the same number as Meek did, 8.5. And I'm a little bit. I know that the Marlins have always been kind of very difficult for us. I get it, but we did have those 6 games against the Marlins. I think we needed to take advantage of those games.
Yeah,
because we only play them 6 more times the rest of the year, and they do suck. Like
I know, but
I get it. But historical stuff sometimes isn't as relevant as we in our heart think it is.
They also made a point of saying they don't hit home runs, and then they hit like 2 or 3 home runs in the games that we were playing them. So we were like playing from behind that we didn't even need to.
Yeah.
In these instances, like when we play them the next time around, odds are they're going to be so beaten down it won't matter.
We had some sloppy wins against the Blue Jays too.
I would love to have watched the game with you when Gary was just like having a meltdown over the Marlins managerial moves and their defensive alignment. Like he was downright appalled. Those were moments truly like I usually think that, the armchair quarterbacks at home, I could do this, I could do that. Like obviously you couldn't. You could have dropped me in that game and I would have managed that game better. Like walking someone to set the double play and not being a double play depth is like, you should be fired like right then and there, like crazy shit. The center fielder playing as shallow as he was against Pete, like all these things made no sense. Gary was like offended to his core about that.
I think a lot of that too is you have a rookie manager, Clayton McCullough, and on top of it, you have all rookies in the lineup, so no one's going to be a Lindor and be like, "Whoa, what are we doing here, guys?" There's no coach on the field. Everyone there has no major league experience, and it showed. And I will say, I'm very high on the Mets, 8.5. I love this team. I'm all in. I think Meek is right where I'm not going to say it's a soft schedule because it's not soft because the Sacramento thing is weird. And then we go to Minnesota and they're kind of up or down. But these are winnable games. For like we're not outclassed. I'll say that with these next 6 games. But some of those Blue Jays games, we left a lot of guys on base. They were ugly wins. The bullpen saved our ass. Yeah. The bullpen was even like good and not great. We lose some of those games. So we definitely have to hit better, but I think we will. I believe in Mark Vientos.
That's the one thing I'm not worried about at all. Like
I believe in Brandon Nimmo. He's going to hit better.
Yeah.
Like, I believe, obviously, Lindor, we know he's going to play even better. We kind of saw it with his homestand. Like, these guys will play really well. I am very encouraged. We just have to get some starting pitching to go a little deeper into games.
But that's just like not what happens anymore. Like, I'm with you. I would love that. But like, you're getting like 5 innings max from these guys. It's just like how baseball goes now.
I don't know. Like, so like, take McGill's start yesterday. This is a bad Marlins lineup, one of the worst I've seen, and I'm old. I have gray hair. I'm old. I have gray pubes. I'm old.
That's old.
But yes. But having said that, McGill, you can't be throwing that many walks against this bad Marlins lineup.
Yeah.
You can't be. You have to get out of these innings with less than 20 pitches. You have to try to get 15 or less against this Marlins team. You got to go deeper into games. So I think these guys will. I think we'll get there. It's just we're just not there yet. But Kevin, you're right though. I mean, the game is not what it was, even 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with pitching already being, I mean, we talked about it going into the offseason where it was like Stearns wasn't going to spend his money, and because you don't have guys going the Randy Johnsons complete games, even 8 or 7 is a fucking like victory.
7 to me is like a complete game now. It's
yes.
like 7 is a dream.
But we have to start getting 5, like 4 2/3, 4 1/3, like because at some point the bullpen is going to break. The way the schedule has started, we've been able to have the off days, but that's when things start to break and little leaks start to occur, especially when you have your starters all hurt, like we do with Minaya and Montes. Kyle, let's see, we had binary, we had 1 through 10. Give me an A through F. How are you feeling right now?
I'm gonna say B, just straight B. And for this reason, obviously the hitting. But I think the more important thing is that hitting, if you don't get off to a hot start hitting, that's fine. Like, that's not an issue. The bullpen and the starting pitchers having confidence in their stuff going into early on in the season is a huge X factor when it comes to this type of thing, because it's all about confidence at that point. Like, Clay Holmes, very confident in spring, had 2 shaky starts, and then this last one he had 10 strikeouts. Like, you need to build off of that for your season. And I think because the teams haven't been as good, they've been able to have like the training wheels to get their legs under them. Like, all of the bullpen guys, even Danny Young, who turned it around the last 2 outings, like, seem like they're going out there with the idea of our analytics are telling us the best pitches to throw to get these guys out. Their percentages have completely flipped if you look at them coming from any other team. Mm-hmm. And if they think they can get them out, that's all I need. I don't need somebody out there like doe-eyed, Diaz aside, like that game was already lost, doesn't matter. But everybody else has gone out there and been like Ryan Stanek, where they're like, fuck you, here's my best stuff, you're not going to get it. And like, that is how you need to start a season if you're going to be successful.
That guy's awesome. They're guys who were just, there were guys in the past that were coming in that they were the Brett Batty of pitching. They looked scared. Yeah. They were nibbling. They wouldn't throw it over the plate. And we got a few guys who are just like, fuck you, I'm going to shove. And they'll probably get lit up a couple times, but that mentality is better.
Kranick just fills up the strike zone. Yes. Like, you can't put that's a premium. You can't discount the fact that he just goes in there and throws strikes.
Yeah. You know, I wish we'd do that. It was Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes has great stuff.
Yep. Yeah, they're not going to hit it.
His stuff is great, but he keeps nibbling. I was texting with Phil. I'm like, this is like watching Dice K. Like, the guy's got great stuff, but he just like, it's just, Jerry Remy used to have this line, like, Dice K dances around raindrops. Like, it's just, no matter when you turn the TV on, there's guys on base against Dice K, there's guys on base against Clay Holmes, and you're like, why? This guy should be striking out 15 guys every game. What are we doing here? Stop nibbling. God damn it.
Yeah.
And kind of going in with like the confidence rating. By the way, I'll do a Mets player as my confidence rating. Al Leiter. Great.
Wow.
One of my favorite. Like, love that. Love him as a Met. But like, Al has a ceiling, right? And this Mets team right now has a ceiling, but it's like, I know I can rely on him and he can get even better when it matters, which I think this team will. And this confidence isn't just the players, but like you said, it's the fucking front office nerds, it's Stearns, it's them pressing all the buttons up in the fucking like stadium, and then Mendoza going down and doing what has to be done and getting a read of his guys. And I mean, Mendoza has done nothing to make me not love this guy so far.
I will never forget Al Leiter throwing like 146 pitches. he was legit throwing to the 140s, maybe like once, but he did. It was like crazy to think about that now. That's like 2.5 starts for another guy.
What they did to Dwight Gooden, his in '85 season, is like, you should Jock should sue the Mets, from what they did to his arm back then, because that was just malpractice, basically. But I mean, it must have been awesome watching him for that season. It must have been absolutely incredible. But everything since, his whole life fell apart. But that was from other stuff. So that's my version of an 8.5. I love Al Leiter. That fucking Reds playoff play-in, whatever game was the moment.
Speaking of that, by the way, R.I.P. to Octavio Dotel. That shit is crazy.
Yeah,
115 people died.
Yeah.
Has anyone seen? I didn't watch the video because I didn't want to see it because, how does a roof collapse? Were there people on the roof? I don't understand the physics of it all.
That is crazy, though. He was a part of that '99 team. He brought in Mike Hampton. He's a good piece of Mets history. That's very sad. I thought it was going to be him and a couple other people. 113 people is a tragedy. That's insane.
Yeah. Pedro said still his family members missing, right?
Yes. And another major leaguer, a guy named Tony Blanco, passed away too. And he saved another ex-major leaguer, Esteban Herman's life because he pushed him out of the way at the last second. And then the roof fell on poor Tony Blanco.
Jesus.
A horrible, I guess it was it's a terrible tragedy in the Dominican Republic. I think actually that number has even gone up, Kevin.
Really? Jeez.
Yeah, it's awful.
That's
Octavio Dotel, for anyone who's younger doesn't remember, Kevin and Clem do. Those guys, Dotel, was a great prospect for us.
He had an arm, man. Yeah,
we used him as a starter, and he had some big starts for us. Net. Mm-hmm. I know the ERA was high. But
he was decent in Houston too after they traded him, right?
He immediately became a nice pitcher for them because they started using him at the bullpen more.
Right.
But you're absolutely right, Kevin. He got us Mike Hampton. Without Octavio Dotel, you could make a case we never make the 2000 World Series because Hampton was such a huge part of that team. Dotel was a very important Met and had a very nice 15-year career, won a World Series with the Cardinals. Dotel had an ideal career, a really, really, really good pitcher, and by all accounts, a very good teammate.
And a great name, Octavio Dotel. I'll never forget that. He was awesome, man.
You see that guy on your prospect list, and you just fall in love with the name alone. Yeah. And I remember being so bummed when they traded him, even though I knew Hampton was an important piece for us. And then as soon as because then we get Hampton, and then Dotel becomes a closer, and then we're watching Armando Benitez as our closer. I'm like, man, I wish. And then Hampton leaves after.
And then the school system.
The school system of Colorado.
I was like, just send your kids to private school. You're going to get $100 million, dude. School system.
And it ruined his career.
It did,
He had overthrowing to compensate, and he ended up blowing his arm out. It destroyed Mike Hampton's career.
It's business decision. How much did he leave on the table? But then you're going to Colorado. You're not going to get another contract because your arm shot.
Who goes to pitch in Colorado? Are you insane?
Wild move.
He 8 home runs. He's the only pitcher that was crushing the ball.
It was him and Denny Nagle.
The Wilpons end up making a cavernous stadium. He could have been a Met for life and pitched in a pitcher's park and the whole nine.
Yep.
Yeah. Remember that offseason? It was him and Denny Nagle. Both went to the Rockies. The Rockies we're going to focus on pitching. And it immediately – Hampton had a good first half. Nagle was bad to begin with, and then Hampton's arm fell off.
The Rockies should always do the early – I think the early Rockies, mid-'90s when they first expanded, when they had Vinny Castillo and Galarraga, and they just had a bunch of Roy Monkey fucking freaks. They should just always go down that road. We're just going to score 11 runs a game. We might give up 12, but as long as we give up 10, we're good to go.
That 95 team made the playoffs. You're not wrong, Kevin.
Yeah, they were good. And that wasn't it – No, it was the Expos in '94 who got fucked, right? Larry Walker on the Expos. Yeah, they were. And
then he left to go be a free agent. Went to the Rockies.
Rockies. Yeah. Todd Helton was always if you had the Jason Stark trivia, he was always one of the two answers for ridiculous stats because he was just an absolute machine.
He played his whole time in Colorado, right?
Yeah,
in the Mile High.
So it's perfect segue right there because we're going to Colorado and, we're going to another stadium that I don't know much about with the Athletics. And then we're going to go to the Twinkies. We have the Twinkies coming up. So this next segment, the look ahead, is brought to you by our friends at GameTime. Baseball is back. There's nothing like getting to a baseball game, especially last minute. Luckily for me, I always use GameTime, the official ticketing of Barstool Sports. GameTime makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the app actually go down the closer it gets to showtime. Plus, the GameTime Picks feature makes it even easier to find great deals on the seats you want. Just pull up your chosen event, turn on the GT Pick setting at the top of the screen, or browse the best local GameTime pick deals near you on the GameTime app homepage. Boys, I wasn't even looking at baseball games to start with. I was looking at Offspring tickets. My beloved Offspring, finally in New York at Bethel Woods, the original home of Woodstock. Incredible place to watch a ticket.
I would not have known you would say my beloved Offspring. That's crazy.
I've been dying to watch Offspring since I was a kid, and it just never works out. Me and Eddie have like a pact to see it together. And one night we were both in the city for the dozen, was the next day. We had no clue Offspring was like 2 blocks away playing on one of the piers. And I'm just like, God damn it. So they've been haunting me. I'm getting it done. I went to Game Time, hit the GT picks. $66 gets me in. It's an incredible venue. People who've ever been to Bethel Woods know how great of a venue it is there. So you can put those savings back in your pocket and spend them at the ballpark on a hot dog, a new hat, or some good old fashioned Cracker Jack. You can even keep book with Clemmer. So what are you waiting for? I'm going to buy my Offspring tickets now with Game Time picks. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code BELIEVE for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code BELIEVE for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? Game time. All right, the look ahead, and we got our 2 baseball savants. Tell me about this. I don't think we even say Sacramento Athletics, right? They just go by Athletics, like
Athletics.
ATH on the little scoreboard. They don't even put Sacktown there, which is such a slap in the face to the good folks of Sacramento. Stadium wise, I know it seems to be like a little bit of a bandbox. It's an absolute joke where the clubhouse is like a shed for the media. It's like literally like the 5 of us would be the only people that can fit in there, and I think you can like blast a shot and like hit stuff in the outfield, like different clubhouses and stuff like that. So team wise, stadium wise, vibe wise, whatever. You guys, Clemmer, give me the vibe of the Athletics right now.
The A's are a pretty good team for compared to what they have been. I think this is a team that the ceiling is probably 500 for them, but it's not. They're not the awful A's we know from like 2-3 years ago. That they're better now. You know, they have Severino. They have the guy named Jeffrey Springs they got from the Rays. He's a pretty good pitcher. He's been hurt a lot in his career, but he's a nice pitcher. The offense is pretty good. You know, Brent Rooker, Lawrence Butler, they have some players. So this is not like a team where you're like, oh, this is an easy win like it was. Like this is a competitive team. They're not great, but this is a decent team. The real question mark though is this ballpark. I need a scientist. I need someone smarter than me to explain why this is happening. Like, is the outfield space very big? You know, Coors Field has the biggest outfield in baseball, right? Because they push the fences back. But this doesn't seem to be the case because it's 320 on the lines. It's not that high above sea level. I don't understand what's happening, but the ball seems to really fly out of it.
I was going to say, I just looked it up. 330 to left, 403 to dead center, and 325 to right. That's pretty standard.
It is. But yet, for some reason, this plays, I said, like a Coors Field. It's very strange. I don't understand. And maybe it's just an aberration. Like maybe the first 5 games just played that way. But I have heard one theory. It's kind of like, you guys remember Candlestick Park? Yeah. Remember like when the wind would swirl and sometimes you get crazy fucking shit to happen? I mean, Sacramento's not that far from, and maybe that wind is swirling like it was at Old Candlestick. I don't know, but just I would say Mets fans, be prepared for anything.
Weird shit on the West Coast, which, by the way, only one 10 o'clock game, and then we don't go after 7-4 in this road trip other than Friday. And listen, Friday night, you're either up or you pass out for a little, wake up, and then Saturday, you ease into the weekend. Much better than the shit we've had to go through in the past. Phil, what have you seen from the A's so far?
We faced Luis Severino on Sunday, and Luis Severino, fly ball pitcher in that ballpark, he's been shelled in 2 starts.
Has he really? Oh,
yeah,
man,
it's been ugly. Highest paid player in A's history. Can't say Oakland anymore. So we face JP Sears tomorrow night. Oh no, yeah, tomorrow night. I don't think Marty got a hit off him. I know Marty faced him in his series. I don't think Marty got a hit off him. I think he drew a walk.
Drew a walk? Okay, that's a good thing for us if Marty's able to draw a walk off of him.
Sears is a competent pitcher, though. Like these guys, this isn't like I said. We're used to the A's kind of being the laughing stock, but like JP Sears is a decent arm.
Yeah, but also let me just stop you there. Like I remember when the A's were a laughing stock and Jacob deGrom was pitching to them in September, and they fucking got dicked around. Like there's just no such thing until we have like sustained success for like 5 years. I will never feel comfortable ever when I'm watching a baseball game ever.
I think you can feel comfortable when the White Sox come to town in May.
I don't know.
I will. I'll be going to those games and enjoying them. I think that, but like this A's team though, like it isn't that level. Like I said, just don't like if you don't pay a lot of attention to AL baseball, like just don't be expecting a bunch of 10-1 wins because this team can play.
We're not getting the Washington Generals. Like we're getting an actual team that was built with somewhat of a purpose here. I'm looking at the stats. Tyler Soderstrom has 6 home runs, 350 average. I mean, these guys just began to a hot start. Rooker's the guy I know. I had no clue Rooker existed, and I saw he's like 30 and 39 home runs the last 2 seasons, which just lets you know like the A's exist. For someone that doesn't follow a lot of baseball outside my little Mets circle, and then the A's are so far off like the radar for a lot of people. The most fucked up thing about the A's, which I knew about because, first week of baseball, you're kind of like browsing scoreboards and looking at highlights. They have a second baseman named Max Muncy, who's not Max Muncy from the Dodgers, which is completely
insane. That is insane.
And he's a legit prospect. Like he's going to be in the league for a while.
Is he going to be better than the Max Muncy? Do you think he could be? No. Okay.
I mean, maybe it's hard. Like it's hard. I never want the real Max Muncy's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty fucking good.
Keep an eye on Jacob Wilson. He's an infielder for them. He has the longest hitting streak in baseball. It actually goes back to last season. Got a hit in the last game of last year. And he leads the American League. I think he has like 19 hits. So like just be aware of Jacob Wilson and that hitting streak. You'll probably hear about that during the broadcast.
Yeah, I always like to know who to fear as I go into a series for the first time. Like I see they have Andahar and they have Gio Urshela, which is
Lawrence Butler goes viral because he screams after hitting home runs last year.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like
JJ Bleday is a nice player. Used to be in the Marlins. He went to the A's. He had a nice season. He's someone that I think has potential. It could be an all-star one day. He hasn't gotten off the greatest start, but like he's a decent player. Like this is actually I would say this is above average lineup.
And they got Mason Miller. So if you're losing in the 9th inning, you're going to have to earn that win because Mason Miller throws absolute fucking shit. He's sick. Okay. And then the Twins they're the Twins, kind of same old Twins. Is that what we're looking at coming up here? I imagine the weather's going to suck out there.
I'd even say not quite even because Royce Lewis is their best player. He's always hurt, unfortunately, and I guess no surprise he's hurt. And also the Twins just put Pablo Lopez on the IL. He's probably not their best starter, probably right there with him. So I would say this Twins team is kind of undermanned. They're off to a rough start this year. So I think we're getting a weaker version of the Twins than you'd normally get.
Carlos Correa batting 163 with 2 RBIs.
Boy, remember how excited we were for that guy? Yo.
He's still okay. Like he's not. I think that might be a rough start.
I mean, I would have. I thought we were getting like another Lindor, basically.
I know.
Yeah.
By the way, I keep seeing every now and then, and I remember saying I got to put my hand up on this one because I keep seeing a lot of numbers about Pete Crow Armstrong. It sounds like he's a pretty good player, and I remember being like, "Who fucking cares? Whatever. Like you got to make these moves." And well,
we didn't need to make that one. That was a bad move.
Yeah, that was.
Javier Baez, we didn't even make the playoffs. That was a dumb move.
But it was like they were going for it. At the time I wanted it. I didn't want to if they stayed pat, you would have been mad.
It hurt that they got rid of Pete because I said I just like having a guy I can like do stupid shit with. He was a big prospect, but he was out for the year, So it's like if you're gonna go for it, and Javi had like Yoenis numbers in terms of like some of the advanced shit, but
he was great for us.
He drove you crazy. Like we got the whole Javi experience, right? I always said he's the Mets in human form. He does things that you think are magic, and he does things that you're like, you were the dumbest fucking person on the planet, and I hate you. So I'm happy we had him, and I'm happy he's in Detroit for a very long time.
In some universe, does that Correa trade go through, and then we can't afford?
That's my question. Does that hurt us for Soto? Because
I think so. I think it's similar to like when Stanton went to the Yankees and then Harper became available and they were like, well, we just fucked everything up by signing this guy.
That's probably true because I don't think they're going to sign long-term contracts for a bit. Like they want roster
if that's
flexibility.
The case, then thank God.
Well,
there's no player other than maybe Ohtani, maybe that I would rather have than Juan Soto.
I still think I'd rather. I mean, always. I just think in a hitting situation, if you need an at bat, it's Juan Soto. He's the fucking best pure hitter in the. It is insane that this little narrative of him being overrated popped up. No. His defense, the money, like he's a short thing in sports. It's, you know what I mean? It's like it would be like saying, LeBron's over. I mean, there are people out there who do that too, but it's guys who are guaranteed to be the top of the top, and people are like, he's overrated. Okay, go ahead, think that it's gonna be.
Even when he doesn't hit the ball, his approach at the plate is like you just stop and stare. There's certain players over the course of your lifetime where you're like, he just looks like an entirely different animal up there.
Yep.
Like the confidence, the roof, his command of the strike zone is incredible. Like everything about him, he squares up the ball like every time he makes contact.
Yep, he's incredible.
And the average price for players in like 5 years is going to make his contract look like a joke.
1,000%. Like right now, I still think it's worth it, but fine. If you think it's overpaid right now, give it like same thing that happened to like Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper's contract's a joke right now. When
He
guys
makes
are getting
$25 million a year.
yeah,
He's
I mean,
26 years old. He's as old as the guy who won Rookie of the Year last year.
you might not. We probably haven't even seen his best seasons, like at all.
No.
It's crazy.
He's
And
as
we
old
built
as
in
the
the
Rookie of the
contingency.
Year.
Right.
We built in the contingency where if we pay him a little bit more with inflation, he can't opt out. Like that'll go down as a great move. If it comes to
Crazy.
fruition.
In 20 years, when he's inducted into the Hall of Fame, he'll be wearing a Mets cap in the Hall of Fame. Like
That's all
him
that
and
matters.
Lindor will be wearing those.
Knock on wood, Phil.
we
I'm
can
with
finally stop with like the our best offensive player, and it's going against guys with 5 good seasons or 6 good seasons.
Yeah.
Juan Soto will be our best offensive player ever,
Period.
and it will just feel fucking right. And then our second best, third best,
He's
whatever.
not wood.
Like
yeah, please not.
White Trout exists. We've seen what happens. He's knock on wood somewhere.
Pete's
One
gonna
thing to
break
keep
the
an eye
home
on, if you go, is the Pete Alonso in that home run chase. That's going to be the narrative as we go on to the season because
That's true.
he has a really good chance of being the all-time Mets home run leader. And how many times
This season,
Yeah.
this season he's like 25 away?
And then Juan Soto breaks in 6 years.
Well, I don't know, Phil. Not if Pete sticks around. And how special is it to have your all-time home run leader still active? It doesn't happen very often.
cool.
So it's kind of cool. So enjoy the Pete Alonso.
Well, I mean, it happens when your franchise sucks dick, dude.
Well,
No more though. No more.
no, I think you guys can probably tell I'm super amped up.
No,
Like,
but
this-
historically, I mean, all these things.
Yeah.
Are,
I know, I get it, but like we've historically had bad hitters. Well, guess what? We don't anymore.
right?
We're gonna have our active home run leader. Got fucking Juan Soto, Francisco Lindor. Let's go.
Yeah.
Perfect way to sign off, Clever. Hit me with it. Gotta believe.
You gotta believe.
Gotta believe.